Hello everyone, welcome to episode 42, I think it's actually 43, I think it's 43, of How to Play Like a WoW Pro. Today I'm going to be showing you this new map called Aquila, or something like that. I think it's Aquila. And I'm going to be showing you how I think you should be playing these new maps so that you'll be ready for when they come out. And I'll just give you my general opinion about the map. This will probably be one of several videos, maybe like 4 or 5 videos where I go over some of the new maps and how I like to play them. So basically this map has a heavy flank where you brawl in a city. It has a huge middle field in the low ground where light tanks play usually. There's 2 pretty standard bushes on this map. There's one on the corner of this house, and then there's one on the corner of this far house, which is basically identical to this one. So this team's light tanks go to this bush, the other team's light tanks go to that other bush. I can't really see it right now. Maybe you'll see it in a second. It's somewhere around here basically. And what those bushes do is spot medium tanks, which are heavy tanks, which are traversing their way up to the high ground here on the left flank, which is where a lot of medium tanks go. You can also go here in heavy tanks, although I would only recommend it for like faster heavy tanks, probably like a Recon or something. But as you'll see when we get up here, this is kind of the area where brawls occur. But the brawls are usually kind of prolonged because there's a lot of hull down areas where people can just sit. So it's hard to push through on this flank. But if you're in a good hull down tank, it's a pretty good spot to go. And so in basically all fast hull down tanks, relatively fast hull down tanks, this is probably where I'm gonna go on this map. But I should also mention that this position here, there is a fountain here which you can YOLO to. And you can get shots on people moving up this road, especially if you're in the north spawn because it's closer to the north spawn. The problem with this fountain, and with this area in general, is that there's very limited space to actually fight here. Like if you look at how much of the map this actually takes up, it's like a puny sliver of the map. And so even after the initial engagement, if you try to push through in this flank, there's just so many openings and gaps where tank destroyers can basically screw you, or even light tanks can shoot you through this middle gap. Like the entire mid can shoot through this middle gap if you're high enough in elevation. And if you try to push through over here, there's a ton of TD spots where people like to camp. So that's why I usually just ignore the city on this map. And I usually try to ignore the middle of the map unless I'm a light tank. Unless something happens later into the game where the middle suddenly becomes viable. And when does the middle become viable on this map? Well, one example is if the enemy pushes through this flank. If the enemy pushes through this flank, you can drop off and escape to the middle really quickly. And then from this position right here, there's kind of a hull down. And so as they push through this open ground, as you can see this area, there's giant gaps like here, here, here. From this position right here, you can shoot anybody trying to push through. And so if you're ever losing this flank, that's something to keep in mind. But as you can see, the rock I'm at right now, this is my favorite position on the map. It's just very good for farming damage. There are these fences here which are really annoying to shoot through, so if there's no enemies around at the beginning of the game, and you have nothing better to do, you might as well just shoot down those fences so that they can't go hold down on you in such an annoying way. I don't know how I hit that shot, I just snapped it, but... Right now, in this situation, we're holding just fine. They can't really push us, they don't have a big enough numbers advantage to push us. So for now I'm just brawling. There's a little bit more that I want to tell you about the map as well, but I'm gonna wait until later to discuss it because I can kind of show you it instead of just telling you about it. But I think I'm pretty sure that I have some light tank replays on this map as well. I could be wrong about that, but there's a possibility I'll show some light tank replays on this map as well. We'll see in the future. This is one of the main problems with the E50m is its turret. At least against premium rounds, it's just not that good. But what this thing has over heavy tanks is its speed and its accuracy. So I still think the E50m has a place in the game. It's just not, it's not like amazing or anything, but it still has a role, I guess, which is the important thing for me at least when it comes to tanks. If a tank is just outclassed in every single way by another tank, then there's just no fun in playing it because you know that you'd just be doing better in some other tank, and so why even play it? You'd be doing better in every single situation even. As long as there's some situations where a tank is superior to basically every other tank, then it's a fun tank usually. Here I kind of make a mistake, but luckily I snapshot this guy back. And that's what's really annoying about this position here, especially from this side. There's a decent bit of distance between you and this position, so you can get shot by this guy, by anybody who plays on this corner, which is very common as you push up. And then this guy, especially if it's something with great gun depression like an STB, he'll also be shooting you the whole way you can go in. So I'm kind of stuck here right now. I can't push forward very easily. And as long as I can get like one more shot into the STB, then I would probably feel comfortable pushing up. But for now, I don't think I push up until then. I could be wrong though, we'll see what happens. But if you pay attention, we're up 4,000 HP and up 4 tanks, so... And if you look, every single tank is spotted. So this STB and Patton are alone up here, so... It's kind of time that I do something. I feel like I should do something in this situation, but I'm not exactly sure what that is. So for now I'm just chilling, but I realize that I have to do something soon or else I'm going to get nothing else more out of this game. And I get shot by the 1390. And this is what I talked about, I think, in my first video ever. You line up the target indicator with your reticle. If you don't have this thing right here, which makes it easier to line it up, then you can find that in your settings, reticle, and then it's this here, your load indicator. You just turn this up to 100 and make this diagonal, and then you do that for sniper mode and arcade mode, and then you can line it up. And as you can see, that shell disappeared. That means I hit the 1390. I don't know how I didn't spot him. He must have been double bushing or something, but as you can see, I just hit him again. There's no splash behind where I fired. So that's 800 more damage that I didn't have before. But that shot misses, so he must have moved. And as you can see, their STB dies. So now it's time for me to push in. Even though I'm lower health than this guy, I'm kind of confident that I can find a hold down on him and kill him. But he tries to run away. Now here's what I was wanting to talk about earlier. So a lot of the time there will be a lot of campers, like maybe 3 campers sitting in these areas, like this bush here, just this area in general. And they all have easy side shots on you as you cross this gap, kind of like how this position has side shots on this as they cross this gap. So after winning the top on this map, you have to really think twice before pushing this, because in this situation everything is spotted, so I know there's no campers over here except potentially the 1390, so I feel comfortable pushing through here. But another reason why it's really hard to push through here is because of this position right here. this position makes a crossfire with this position, and it also makes a crossfire with these positions. So if you push into here, you're going to be getting shot by this side, potentially this side, and by this side. And so when you're losing and you're on the north flank and you're losing this flank, you could potentially think of coming back here. Unless they just straight up YOLO you, it's going to take like 3 tanks for them to kill you if you have any support at all. And so that's what I was looking for. I was looking for him, expecting him to just be huddled in the corner, but he's not. I switched to APCR to try to track him, but I bounced. And unfortunately the 1390 hits me twice, so now I'm a one-shot for the Patton, because I get high rolled by the 1390. And now you can see that the situation has kind of changed. Now it shows that we're down 5,000 HP, so it turns out that the HP was wrong. It said we were up 5k, but that must have been incorrect because we're out of render range. And so now I can't push the Patton because I'm a one-shot, so instead I come over here looking for the 1390. I ping the map a bunch of times, telling my team where he is, hoping that this EBR-90 will spot him, and he does get spotted, which is great for me. I finish him off. I see that the Patton pushes behind and kills our AE phase 1, and I just need to get out of here and get somewhere where I can get some distance between this guy, because he's way more HP than me. And I try to reverse side scrape here, expecting him to poke out, but the elevation is kind of messing with me a little bit. But I managed to evade his shot, which is the most important thing. Now I see that we're kind of losing still, and so when I see that this Patton backs off a little bit, I'm going to take this opportunity to get the hell out of here, because I don't really want to be stuck fighting in a hull down fight with a Patton when I can just escape instead and help my team with the rest of the tanks. Because this guy is kind of stuck here because this Kunze-Panzer is playing the middle, so if he pushes this way or if he pushes this way, then our Kunze-Panzer will shoot him. He would have to go all the way around to get out of there. So he's not really a problem as long as we ignore him. A load of APCR here. I'm looking for shots, but I can't find any. So I start heading towards the city a little bit. Basically, like I said, once you win in the city, it's very hard to push through because of this camping spot in this area here. It's very hard to push through. So that's why I don't really recommend city in general, if possible. I mean, it can work, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you're a heavy tank, especially a slow heavy tank. Maybe my opinion of it will change if I played the city a few more times and tried to figure it out, but I kind of doubt it. It just doesn't seem like a great place to fight to me. And overall, in Recon mode, I really like the maps. Like almost, like every single map I like more than the maps that we have right now on average. Like sure, there's a couple maps that I like more than the Recon maps, like Murovanka I think is a really good map. But on average, these maps seem better than the maps that we already have. Now here I try to flank the emo too. I'm bearing in mind that this Patton could come behind me and shoot me in the back. But since he's out of render right now, I'm not too worried, but I can't stick around here for too long or else the Patton could kill me. And I almost flipped there. So I'm trying to get unspotted now. I don't want the Patton to shoot me in the back. And I decided to flank this email from this other side because I don't think he'll be expecting it. And plus I thought the Patton was over here, so I just thought engaging him from this side is a better idea, because if I engage him from this side, then the Patton would shoot me from the back. But then the Patton gets spotted over here, which is not ideal. Because now we're kind of trapped between the email and the patent, and we really need to kill the patent or else we're kind of in a bad situation. And I think I might make a misplay here. This is very risky what I'm doing right now, because this patent, I'm pretty sure he could poke from somewhere around this area and he would spot me and just kill me. So this is pretty risky, but I'm trying to get away with it. And if I happened to spot the email right there, I think I would have just shot him on the move and then got into cover, because it's not worth risking getting shot by the patent. But right now I'm pretty greedy for damage, so I'm playing pretty aggressively, even though their AMX M4 is full health and their email is like 1000 HP. But I'm thinking as long as I can maintain some distance between these heavies as I engage them, they're going to have a really hard time penning me if I can use the cover available to me and play hull down or side scraping. And I'll easily be able to pen them because I have heat shells and pretty good aim. And here I spot the AMX M4 in basically the perfect position. This is pretty good timing. I'm waiting for him to destroy the car because I expect him to shoot it. I didn't want to pull forward any further and expose my lower plate. And there, if you watch my weak spot video, you'll know exactly where to aim on AMX M4s. I have 2 weak spot videos. I'm not sure if it's in the first one or the second one, but if you're wondering how I knew where to aim on his turret, just watch my weak spot videos. Now it's just the email left. This isn't a guaranteed win yet by any means, but it's pretty likely we'll win. So I'm kind of looking for him. I'm trying to play a little bit cautious going around every corner because I don't want him to just kill me. I want to spot check the corners before I go around them. But I'm still kind of in a rush to try to find him because I know that this can be like an 8k damage game or something, because remember I had 2 blinds in the 1390 earlier. So I'm up to around 7.5k damage. So I'm thinking if I kill this guy from full health, I can get like 8.5k damage, which would be a pretty nice battle. Here I'm just pre-aiming because I know he's going to come around the corner. And my goal was to pre-aim and then immediately back up to try to get around this corner so that I can get off at least a second shot. But he kind of slows down and I see that this guy's going to shoot him in the back, so I just stay here. And my goal right now is to shoot him and then ram him. And I don't ram him for enough damage, but still I think I played that correctly. So yeah, let me check if I have the post-game stats real quick. I'm not positive if I do or not. Okay, the screenshots are taking forever to load. Okay, here it is. 1 second. So here are the post-game stats. 8.4k damage, 1900 assist. And I had like 3 8k games while playing Recon for like 30 battles or whatever. There was just a lot of situations where I could do a lot of damage. And also the battles in general just seemed like they were taking like a minute longer than they do on most other maps that we currently have. Which I really like. That I got into endgame situations where it was like 5 versus 5 or something like that all the time on these new maps, which I really like. So yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for watching. My next video will probably also be on one of the new maps. See you guys later. Goodbye.